Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for the kickoff of the 11th Annual Altered Book Exhibition and Fundraiser. It's our tradition to open our exhibition with a kickoff talk featuring our esteemed jurors, Donna, Seager, and Mary Austin, who are going to have a very exciting revelation of all of the artist awards in just a moment. So it should be a great moment with them. And I also wanted to introduce myself. I'm Nancy Rakoff, Executive Director here at the Marin Museum of Contemporary Art. And if you're new to the museum, I'd like to give you just a little bit of background about us. We've been here for just over 25 years. We like to think that we are evolving into the premier spot for art here in the North Bay. And our mission is to provide transformational experiences to art lovers of all ages using the visual arts. And the way that we do that is, first of all, by sharing contemporary art exhibitions. We produce about 15 a year. We also provide an art enrichment program for local, more than 1,000 fourth and fifth graders here in Novato. We have an artist in residence program, and we teach classes to adult students of all ages and stages. We have a very popular museum store, and we've got special events here for families that are free at no charge to them. Probably most important, we have 160 artist members, and they are our cultural treasure. You are going to see artwork from some of them tonight, so we're very excited to share that. Some people ask me, what is an altered book? And that's actually a really good question. It is a form of contemporary art in a category that we call the book arts. It's a fast-growing category of great interest to residents of the San Francisco Bay Area and beyond. And here in our exhibition, we show two different kinds of books. The altered book actually incorporates a component of an actual book, say a book spine, a cover, inside pages, illustrations, words. And then the artist combines that with their own media, whether it's paint or sculpture or metalworking even, to create a unique original artwork. The other category that we show is called an artist book. And in this case, the artist does everything. They write the words, they do the illustrations. In some cases, they make their own paper and they bind the book. So you'll see both categories of the book arts in this show tonight or today. So also wanted to let you know that for those of you that are more familiar with what we do at the Altered Book Show, you might be wondering, what is the same this year and what is different? Well, there are some changes, and so I'd like to share those with you. First of all, what's the same? We have 130 beautiful book art objects installed here in the museum galleries, and they will be here through August 29th. Also the same, this is our annual fundraiser. Our goal is $50,000, and we are able to achieve that for two reasons. Number one, the presenting artists that you will see in the gallery, they have donated their work. And we are so grateful for that, because then when we sell them at auction to viewers like you, we are able to apply those funds directly to the high priority programs and exhibitions of Marin MoCA. The second way that we achieve this goal is that we have yet again a $10,000 challenge grant from the Donald O. and Ronald R. Collins Foundation. And that money will be used to match dollar for dollar the revenue that comes in from the book sales. So some things remain the same, but there are things that are different. And so I'd like to share those with you now. First of all, due to our compliance with the governor's order, we are closed now to the general public. But you can visit our artwork by making an appointment only. And so what we've created is this new visit tab. So just go to marinmoca.org, visit, and you will be able to select your day and your time for your private visit here, which should feel very, very comfortable and give you plenty of time to select the book or books that you would like to bid on. Then the other thing that's different is there will be no bidding in the gallery. Instead, our auction will be a live auction online starting August 1st with our auction house partner, whose name is BidSquare. And so from August 1st to the 21st, you'll be able to bid on these books from the comfort of your own home. It'll be fun. It'll be like buying something on eBay. And what you can do to get started is to register right now after the talk. You just go to marinmocha.org, you go to exhibitions and find the Altered Book page, and then follow the instructions. You'll see a link that says, get ready to bid. And what you'll be doing is you'll be opening an account with BidSquare so that you can bid when the silent auction starts on August 1st. So it's different, it's going to be fun, but we're looking forward to it, and we hope that you will feel very safe through this process and really enjoy it. Now, I would like to introduce our jurors, and more than anybody I know, these two are responsible for the flourishing of the book arts in the San Francisco Bay Area. First, we have Donna Seager, and Donna is co-owner of the Seager Gray Gallery. She's been directing that gallery with her partner for 9 years now. And Donna also does her annual Art of the Book exhibition. So Donna has really been a champion for artists that specialize in book arts. She's discovered amazing talent, and she's been doing this consistently for years. In fact, she's also done book art exhibitions in New York, Miami, and San Francisco. So we love working with Donna. And also, you will hear tonight from Mary Austin. She is co-founder of the San Francisco Center for the Book, which I believe has been in business for more than 20 years now. And they are real champions for the book arts. Through their programs, they raise awareness of book arts. They train students with skill for developing books and all kinds of printing processes. They do lectures. They have great programs for the general public. So we're so pleased to have Mary with us, who also is a collector of artist books. She's a philanthropist, and she's also publisher of the Underground Press of San Francisco. So with that, I'm delighted to turn this over to Donna Seager, who's going to be spending a little bit of time telling us her overall impressions of the exhibition. Donna?
You. And I can't believe it's 11 years. 11 years. And in that time, we have seen an amazing growth in the show itself, in people's abilities with working with the materials. And yesterday, or Thursday actually, when Mary and I were going around and looking at the works, we were talking about how spoiled we have become by the quality, the scope, and the content of this show. It has become a hallmark show for everyone, not even just in Marin. I think it draws people from all over, and I'm proud to still be able to have some part in it. I think a book offers an experience of art like no other, because you're dealing with form and content. And when they are in harmony, there's a kind of harmonic chord that goes off. And I found that happening so often in all of the entries in this year's show. Thank you.
Okay, and now we're going to hear from Mary Austin. Mary?
Okay. Well, I'm really thrilled to be here, and again, just echoing what Donna said, you know, the quality of the work continues to be higher and higher each year that we participate in this show. And you know, it's innovative, it's clever, it's fun, and reflecting so many aspects of the culture of the book. And Nancy, I loved your transformational experiences, because these books are that, they embody exactly that. You know, I think for me, what I noticed this year, of course, that there was a lot of, in terms of thematically, there was a lot of things that had to do with the pandemic, lots of food. And some collaboration, which I thought was fun. And of course, there was the pandemic itself and racial unrest. But from those very serious tones all the way to whimsy and humor and escapism. And there were a lot of really interesting new ideas. You know, someone made a surgical mask that you could, with words from the dictionary of, you know, our new evolving vocabulary. There was a devotional piece where it had loose pages of Mary Oliver poems that you could put by your door so that you could leave with a bit of poetry. And I just so appreciate the inventiveness and all the creativity that goes into this. You know, it is, after all about community and inviting the visitor to step in and experience books in a new way. And I'm just so happy to be here to kind of share, for Donna and I to share our thoughts of what we found particularly of interest in this show.
Great. Okay, shall we start with the awards then?
Let's go ahead and start. Donna, you want to
All right. We want to start with a very special award because this book is one of the most charming and joyful books, and it was made by Cindy Johnson, and it's called Cindy's Life. And Cindy is one of the students, art students at the Cedars, and the book is about things she loves. It's a joie de vivre of a book with colorful Matisse-like pictures. And I really suggest you do yourself a favor and read all the way through. You'll be happy.
It's
Mary?
really an amazing book. As Donna said, the colors, the kind of vibrant, saturated colors are lovely. And you can see kind of a smattering of that from this image. The end pages, the end papers are so delightful. I'm actually sorry we don't have a picture of the back, which is filled with these ladybug-like butterflies that just are so full of whimsy. And, you know, that she talks about, I guess she's done a lot of pieces that have included birds and flowers and whatnot, but this one is about the people. And I think that her focusing in on the importance of the people in her life was just really so moving. And as Donna said, make sure you actually page through this book. It's completely wonderful.
Yeah, there's so much love here. She loves her friends. She loves her art room. She loves her school. She loves stained glass windows. She loves, it's all about love.
Butterflies and flowers.
Yeah, yeah, great.
Okay, so next slide. So this is another kind of special award. I mean, you know, it's always so hard to focus down on and give awards because so many pieces are so worthy of special recognition. But this is actually a repeat of our award from last year, the Glue Award. The workmanship in this is really so amazing. Stories of Place by Julia Arndt. And, you know, the stories are kind of arranged in these neighborhoods. These are the different colors represent different stories. So it's like the stories themselves have this kind of chaotic aspect that, you know, the words are going all over the place, but the communities kind of bring it together. And it's a real showstopper in terms of just visually. You know, you walk into that front room, it's like, that, I want to see that close up. And it's just really lovely. It has this wonderful allure to it.
Yeah, it's about interconnectedness and how our stories interact and overflow and do it, but so beautifully and meticulously done. And the gluing is superb. I mean, it's so perfect and enjoyable, and the colors, I just love it. Next slide. This one is hilarious. We love this one. This is A Fisherman's Tale by J. O'Neill. And
Life size. That hand is like this.
yeah, the casting, this could have missed in so many ways. It had to look like that hand is coming out of the book, and it does. And it is actually, I believe, a cast of his own hand. And it's ceramics and oil paints, but it's also about tall tales. And in this one, it's hilarious because the lure is huge and the fish is little bitty. And it's turned on its head. It's perfectly done.
It's a real fish story, right? You know, everything's kind of out of proportion, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it really does visually grab you right away. And I just have to make a shout out to some of, you know, there was a lot of humor in the pieces. There was a piece of Baldessari, who actually, John Baldessari actually passed away this year, and he was famous for burning all of his early art, and he put dots on everything. And so there's a piece that's a beginner's guide to golf that has, you know, big blue dots, you know, like golf balls all over everything. And so it was really wonderful to be able to be in this environment with a lot of very serious work, but to have, you know, the opportunity to really smile and laugh out loud at some of these wonderful pieces. So next slide. Ah, yes, Kindle Spirit. I love this piece. You know, it's in a funny way, it reminds me a little bit of Sauce Colby's piece from last year, which was quite a bit smaller, but also, you know, kind of these big black pages that you're not really expecting. They're actually made out of porcelain, and I love, you know, the lightning wire kind of going through, kind of like a bookworm, you know, and it's got these holes that, you know, where the bookworm has kind of actually already burrowed through. But I also love the fact that, you know, the pages are heavy.
Yeah.
They're black, they're blank. And it's just this kind of wonderful combination of, you know, talking about technology and that we're all so connected, but really, are we that connected? And aren't we kind of chaotic in our connections? And you know, it's a relatively large piece. It's like a hardbound book, kind of opened up, and but it's just incredibly delightful with the gold waxed foredges of the pages, just really quite whimsical and wonderful.
Right. If you feel it, the physicality of this book, you know, its physical presence is so wonderful. But also it's like, why a book? Why a book? You know, what? You know, it says so little, so much with so little. You know, it's just simply and wonderfully done.
Well, and we saw this happen again. There was another book called Reading, where you have the actual book be transforming from the mycelium on one side to these wonderful shelf fungi on the other side. And, you know, the book as a way of transforming our thought. I thought these were kind of interesting, kind of a conversation back and forth between these two pieces.
Right. Beautiful. Hey, this one is called Inner Thoughts by Regina. I don't know if it's Baudet or Bode, but this is really a beautiful book within a book. The smaller book actually comes out and is in this beautiful binding. The drawings are beautifully done. There is a zipper that's at the spine. And so it's kind of like the vulnerable part of our inner world and outer world. But also it was taken there. It was drawn in Busan before the pandemic, I read. And Busan is a coastal town in South Korea. And there is a kind of Asian feel to the book about peaceful, easy, beautiful harmony. What do you think, Mary?
I think it's really wonderful. I'm sorry that we can't show you scale in these works. It's a very kind of intimate, small book. The center inner workings of the small book are woven, and it gives it a really wonderful complexity. And as Donna said, this was done before the pandemic, but I think this whole idea of looking inside And we're all kind of spending a lot of time in contemplation. And I think that this really speaks to that in a wonderful way, given the time that we're in right now.
Right.
Next piece. Upon Reflection by Laura Diana. This piece, again, was one of those pieces that we saw it and it's like, oh, it's just so beautifully elegant. And the structure is quite wonderful. The piece folds into this quite lovely marigold casing, but then it folds back out into these squares with, I'm not sure if you can tell, the square on the left on that front page is actually a cutout, and you look through that and there is a photograph of reflections. In fact, there are 3 photographs in this book, all of them having to do with reflection. And it's very elegant, very delightful to kind of discover this world of reflection through this structure.
Right. It's like if you were a little, it's like you're walking and looking into windows into these little rooms in this piece with the double accordion shape that it has. And this person has skills. This is, I mean, really when you close it and close the double doors, it lays perfectly flat. The boards are perfectly done. Really nice. Next. You want to start, Mary?
Well, why don't you start on this one?
Okay. Okay. This is a bird in a hand, and we both love this one. This one is in the front of the museum when you come in. I think that the materials, first of all, are incredible. I wonder if they didn't get some of them from dear Eleanor Murray. It's right up her alley. But the scale is also beautiful, but it's like the frame of the larger book, the smaller book, and and then the kind of burgundy one. And then there's this little creature, and he has this wonderful little bird's nest on his head. I know you saw a lot of details in this, Mary. Why don't you tell us a little more about?
Yeah, I just, of course, with a son who is a budding ornithologist.
Yeah.
And I love kind of the playing with scale. I mean, the largest bird there is the hummingbird, which of course is the smallest bird. And you've got the owl. And as Donna mentioned, the nest. We were recently had a neighborhood viewing of E.T. And this wonderful creature kind of reminds me of E.T. with the elongated body and the funny shoes. And you know, it's just, it leaves you curious and inquisitive and wanting to know more, you know, where did all these pieces come from? The little book on the left-hand side that they're holding in their right hand, you know, that it has a picture of a Eastern or Western bluebird kind of poking out of the portfolio. And on the front, not sure, but it looks like an orange-breasted bunting. I'll have to check the logo and see
how she knew all the names. Yeah, and the little binoculars are mighty fine.
It's just, you know, a perfect combination of everything kind of coming together. And, you know, it's sometimes this sort of thing, you know, gets close but isn't quite there because it just doesn't hold together. But this one just holds together so beautifully.
Nothing doesn't come together. And
yeah, no, it's really quite lovely. Okay, next. Ah, yes. Flyaways and dedications. This, oops, I actually somehow just missed I don't have my Zoom window on, but I can talk about it anyway because I spent a lot of time looking at this particular piece. It is so full of layers and mystery. And as you unfold the book, you're reminded of all these kind of a history of books, the different book forms. You know, the book is, in fact, when we first saw this piece, it's mounted on the wall and it's quite large, but right next to it it looks like a woman's evening bag. It's a kind of folded up version of it. But as you unfold the book, you go through, paperback to hardback to, newsletter to large scale newsletter to, finally to the newspaper size before you completely unfold it. But this has, it has been able to achieve that wonderful balance of chaos and beauty. You've got all of these amazing figures. There's a red figure carrying a torch, I think probably a reference to the Olympics, which of course was supposed to be in Tokyo right now and is not happening until next year. But it's a memory of things we're missing, things that that are yet to come. There's a page from an Oscar Wilde title page in there. There are signatures, there are broken hearts, there's all of this graffiti and signatures and reflections again. The things are reflected this way, that way, and it just and then I was standing there for quite some time, just kind of making notes and looking at it. And I had this uneasy thing that happened where all of a sudden there was a face looking back at me from the upper right-hand corner. And it was like, oh my goodness, just kind of that surprise of, what happens when you have multiple layers of things. And yeah.
It kind of keeps coming at you. Like if you look, the top is reflected in the bottom part of it. And there's all this repetition and floating images that give it a wonderful feeling. The paper is very, very fine. And when you see it in its folded version, you can tell that it can be unfolded beautifully and hung on the wall. So you might want to bid on this. I meant to keep reminding you, bid, because it's a fundraiser, but it's really wonderful and it's different than anything else. Next slide. Okay, this is the portrait of Adele Bloch Bauer by Linda Mueller, and I have been a fan of hers for a long time. And this takes an artist book about Klimt and takes it apart and creates this whole object. It is about as thick on the side as the book itself. So you can see the title on the spine when you look on the side, or little drawings on the other side. But she's taken this book and created this amazing background to do what she does so well, which is paint that face. Incredible. And this is a beautiful scale, kind of book meets painting meets sculpture. It's wood, perfectly crafted.
And it's really, again, like so many of these pieces, really warrants spending real time with it. In the lower right-hand corner, it's a little muddied on the slide, but those are actually little squares of pieces from the book that are painted and gessoed and put together in this amazing kind of mosaic pattern. And the neckline that she has, actually there are images of her from the book that have been kind of patinaed so that they don't like stand out and glare at you. But as you look at the piece, there's this wonderful painterly quality, but there's also kind of the surprise of the book behind the work kind of popping up and kind of showing itself to you. And it's just really quite wonderful.
Right. The little earring is actually kind of loose. It's
right.
Almost like she has a pierced little wooden ear, and it's hanging on her ear. And I was familiar with this piece, and I love it a lot. So kudos to Linda and to her great work, which brings us to the end of our honorable mentions. So we're going to go into the third, second, and first place winners. Drum roll.
Drum roll. Okay, in third place, The Divided States of America by Monica Lee. I just cannot say enough about this piece. It is so incredibly poignant with this kind of chaotic sewing, kind of mending the divided states together, and then the spine right through the center, broken but fixable. And it's such an excellent use of materials. You've got the flag referenced in the actual book. You know, there are collaged in statements of Black Lives Matter, and we need to learn to listen. And when we treat each other with, when will we treat each other with dignity? And I just feel like this is such an incredibly strong piece.
Yeah.
Again, in that front room when you first come in, it's just
Right.
remarkable.
When we first looked at it, we both said, this has punch.
Yeah.
It has punch. It just hits right at the center of what so many people are feeling in these disjointed times. And I think she put it out there beautifully. It's a lesson, a good lesson, and the materials are exquisite. Second place? Okay, so this is Ocean of Tears by Paulette Traverso, and I don't know how well you see it on your screen, but the black background is beautifully printed so subtly with words from essays by Baldwin, and it is amazing. And you know, his essays, he was so strong about the way that Black Americans were treated, and his books were incredible. So the tears come from pages of the book, and in this way the medium is part of the message, because she has taken them and folded them and made them into little circles and turned them into little tears from the pain of mistreatment, really.
And then in the background, you know, in this slide, you don't get a sense of it. In fact, we missed it the first time we saw the piece. It's actually printed black on black of some of the words from the essays of James Baldwin. And you'll notice the eye has kind of a reverse thing happening with the pupil being white. And in the center of that white pupil is the capital letter I, maybe referring to his work, I Am Not Your Negro. And I just feel like this is a really powerful, powerful piece. And it's powerful in its quietness too. I mean, when you look at it on the slide, and actually when you see it in person, there's a calmness to it, which is really quite striking. And I really feel that it is such a strong piece, and congratulations. I just feel
Yeah,
that
gorgeous, really gorgeous. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so now drum roll.
Oh, first place.
Okay, so first place is Kintsugi, Stitches by Lisa Rodondi. And this is just a wonderful, wonderful piece. Both Donna and I, when we walked through the gallery, this piece just spoke to us immediately. Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing works that have been broken with gold. And so there is a sense that in repairing it, you have added value, and it is a permanent record of the history, you know, and that, you know, if something's been broken, that's part of its history. And I just feel like this is such a powerful piece with the journaling kind of going through, and the pages are kind of bundled together. This is Annie Lamont's book about stitches, and you you get this sense that things are healing. You've got these patches of African fabric that have been put on kind of the titles of these bundles of pages, and they're stitched together with this beautiful gold thread, and it's it's a kind of medicine, right? A healing, and I just think this journey that Lisa is taking us on is just so extraordinary. And again, this like Donna said with the last piece, really last couple of pieces, it really just has punch. You're really taken into it. It has a depth and a timelessness that is really amazing.
I think so much of this, and with a lot of Annie Lamott's writing as well, is about what it is to be human. Do you know, to be torn and to mend and to grow and to be just what we are after all that. And there's beauty in that. Beauty, and Kintsugi was just the perfect metaphor for that, because in that culture it becomes more beautiful because of its mending. That's why they use gold for it, and some of her text is written along the gold of the Kintsugi, and we learn from the things that happen to us. It's like a physical poem in some ways, just touching and beautiful. I can't even tell you how impressed I am with this book, and I think I might just bid on it myself.
You're going to have stiff competition, my dear.
I know. I will. It was it just was a pleasure to look at this, and I plan on going back and actually spending more time with it myself.
And as with all of these pieces, we're so grateful to have the opportunity to spend time with your work and to really appreciate the kind of the fruits of your labor. I'm sorry that we didn't have time to really spend more time with more pieces, but I just have to reiterate that the level of skill and artistry continues to delight and amaze me every year. And of course,
makes our job a pleasure. It makes our job a pleasure, and it's so fun for us to be able to confer with each other about what we like about this and that and the other, and content and meaning and form. And it's just, we are grateful to all of you for giving these pieces to Marin MoCA and to help them raise money. And for you bidders out there, you have a lot of great stuff.
That's definitely true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, now it's my opportunity.
Yay.
Am I here? Now it's my opportunity to thank Donna and Mary, because I don't know about you, but every time I listen to them, I learn so much, not just about how to appreciate a piece of book art, but how to appreciate art in general, what I should be looking at, the questions that I can ask, how to observe, how to appreciate the artist's skills, how to link it to today's dialogue. These are all things that they do so well. So I want to thank you both for sharing your comments and making the awards. And I want to remind our viewers that this is really what we've seen today is just the tip of the iceberg. There are 130 book art objects in this exhibition. They're all available for sale at auction. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about how to bid, because it's different this year. And the first thing you can do, even tonight, is just go to marinmoca.org and click on exhibitions and find the Altered Book page, and then click on Get Ready to Bid. And what that will do is take you to the auction website at BidSquare so that you can open your account, basically. It costs you nothing to open your account, by the way. And then on August 1st, when we start the silent auction, you will be able to bid by going to bidsquare.com and then just search for Marin Museum of Contemporary Art in the search bar, and it will bring up our auction. of the silent auction. And one thing I might like to mention is even if you don't want to make an appointment to come down to look at these gorgeous pieces of artwork, they will be beautifully displayed on the auction website. So one of our participants tonight said, how do I find out how big? What are the size of these things? On the auction website, it'll give you detailed information about size, media, a link to the artist's homepage, even if you want to learn more about the artist, and a description of the work. So that will be taken care of for you. And then the culminating event of all of our Altered Book exhibitions is always our live auction. And so on Saturday, August 29th at 7 p.m., we're going to do a live auction, and it's going to be just like you remembered it, with our auctioneer, Tony Perniconi, and with me demonstrating the work that's available, but you're going to see it coming at you right from your computer. You'll be on the BidSquare site, and then you'll see a live streaming video of our auctioneer and me. So you'll be able to participate very safely. You'll be able to see better, hear better, and you will be at the controls. You will be able to direct how much you want to bid for any of these items. So I do want to encourage you to try something new this year and get ready, first of all, by going to our site and clicking on Get Ready to Bid. And now I'd like to thank our sponsors. This would not be possible, it would not be financially successful if we did not have the support of our sponsors. And chief among them is the Donald O. and Ronald R. Collins Fund. They are the philanthropists who give the $10,000 challenge grant. And Ron has been doing this every year for over 15 years. So we so appreciate Ron Collins. Our presenting sponsor for the exhibition is Carson Wealth. And they are a wealth management advisory firm located in San Rafael. They're actually nationwide, but their local office is here in San Rafael. And we have really enjoyed getting to know the principals there. They are wonderful people, very simple, straightforward, demystifying everything about investment management. And I really recommend them to you. We also have a couple of silver sponsors, very loyal supporters that we wish to recognize right now. Bank of Marin, they've been with us for many years helping us sponsor shows, as well as Each Foundation, which is an extremely generous local foundation that makes it possible for Marin MoCA to achieve its goals. And then our bronze level sponsors include Alders Financial Solutions, Avanti Fine Arts, Black Cat Studio, Harvest Market, and Marin Magazine. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. And now I'd like to thank our staff and volunteer, because this is a rather intricate exhibition to produce, and there's a lot of coordination and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And we would like to thank now our volunteer team with producer Patricia Leeds, photographer Jay Daniels, and video production, who's running the show right now, Ellie Kern, and our fabulous installation team, Lynn Bergherm, Colleen Johnson, Lee Nisbet, and Susan Shipley. And then our wonderful staff, this is the best team I've ever worked with. This is Mary Coleman, Pat Doherty, Joe Nelson, and Susan Charman. So that's it. We'll get you to your cocktail hour or whatever you're doing this evening. Thank you so much for your participation and attendance today, and have a wonderful evening.